Hi, folks. This is Yuri from ORIL and our innovation podcast, Innovation Blueprint, Emerging Tech Insights in the Real Estate World. Today, we have an amazing guest. His name is Ben Allen, and Ben is co-founder in one of very interesting for our topic companies with name GreenLite. Say hello, Ben.
Hey, great to see everybody. Yuri, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for accepting the invitation and thank you for being our guest today. Today, we're going to discuss what your company does and what kind of technology you guys use and how do you see the future of the real estate and the PropTech in general. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting. It's not going to take a lot of time, but that will be kind of very useful for our listeners.
Great,
So,
excited to be here.
great. So, Ben, in your company review, it says that Greenlight makes getting a construction permit fast, predictable, and transparent. That's very shortly. But can you tell us exactly what you guys do, why you're so important, and how you guys can help your customers?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So I'm a co-founder of GreenLite, and we're a technology company, and we're a provider of tech-enabled services for people, entities, or companies who are looking to acquire a commercial or residential building permit. So prior to GreenLite, I was in the military, and then I was an accidental retail developer working for a couple brands, many of which folks would know, helping expand their brick and mortar footprint across the country. I was the new unit opening guy. I had to deal a lot with construction permitting and building permitting in order to get our projects completed. My partner, James, our CEO, he had a similar background. We have some shared military DNA. And when he left the military, he did something very similar, expanding brick and mortar businesses and lived as a developer as well. So we came together, worked at a company called Gopuff, where we led a ghost kitchen expansion and deeply felt the pain of permitting. And I'll dive into all of that in a little bit. After about a year of working together, we opened about 100 ghost kitchens for GoPuff,
Oh, wow.
big Miami presence if you ever had the GoPuff pizza. But we said, look, we were very well capitalized. We had an expert team, and we still could not predict confidently when we would get a permit and get permission to build a ghost kitchen. And so James and I looked at each other and said, hey, you know what? We'd love to help solve this problem for other Americans, service to the country in another way. And so that's the genesis of GreenLite. And so today we've built technology and we couple that with human experts on our team who they are, experts in design, architecture, engineering, and building code. And with our platform, we help folks create compliant designs and then submit those designs to get a plan review, whether with the local building department or with GreenLite, and I'll explain that. And then we help once all of the plan review is done and the drawings are compliant, we help with the admin and the fees and all the extra action items needed to get the permit released so people can get shovels in the ground. On plan is kind of our bear case, but faster than plan is our what we're seeing for our customers today. That means customers can make plans and get their building permits in hand, as expected. And in many times we're accelerating that process, giving people more time in their development timeline to, weather bad weather other storms, deal with other problems, but we're reducing the permitting problem big time for big customers.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And the next question, based on everything you said, which role that technology plays in this process? Is that everything human-based, or you use some specific tools that help you to speed up the process?
Yeah, so let's use an example. Think of one of our customers is Driven Brands. They're a large automotive juggernaut. They own Meineke and Maaco and Take 5 Oil Change. And so imagine this customer type, they need hundreds and thousands of permits a year to grow their business. So when they work with GreenLite, we have purpose-built technology, our own IP that we've developed to collaborate with the client, to then connect them to our human experts as we work towards building code compliant drawings, high integrity permit applications, bringing that all together and then piping that into the local jurisdiction for their plan review and their permit approval, or for our team to do a private plan review, which is an interesting service we offer. Again, we're using our own technology to do digital multiplayer, fully, async. So the electrical reviewer doesn't have to do it the exact same time as the plumbing reviewer. So asynchronous review rapidly on our platform, which then spits out, any compliance issues very elegantly and easy to understand to the client. Then we work on our platform and technology to get those drawings and that application in the best spot and call it compliant. So then the permit gets released. So yeah, it's purpose built. It's connected with our human experts, and then we bring all the players from design teams and architects and engineers and other project managers into the same sandbox to collaborate together to get an effective and fast building permit.
That sounds pretty cool. And you mentioned that you guys integrated into your client system. So, do you have some specific API for that, or you just guys build it every single time when you integrate your product into the
Yes.
existing
So
systems?
we, earlier stage, and we have some custom integrations for folks who have a larger kind of enterprise platforms or systems of record, but it's quite simple. But we take pride in, it is not an onerous, overly complex, integration to use GreenLite. Like, we can effectively kick off projects quickly on our platform. Our humans are collaborating with other humans through the platform. We've got dashboards and parts of our platform that are surfacing all the work we're doing and the progress we're making on the project. And all of that doesn't have to integrate directly with another customer system, but we do have some cases where we API into systems when needed and do some integrations. But we're very easy and streamlined for clients to get working with quickly.
This sounds also pretty cool. And the question that I want to ask you next, that's did you guys face some technical challenges or limitations as the green light has grown?
Yes, and how you deal with those challenges. Victors rise to victory on a battlefield. So, a couple things. There's 20,000 jurisdictions in the country who govern the issuing of a building permit. So if you live in Miami or you live in Omaha, Nebraska, or New Orleans or Los Angeles, your local government is they're charged with reviewing what you want to build, make sure it's safe, making sure you've got all the requirements to build, and then they'll issue the permit. 20,000 municipalities across the country are mostly using very different systems, some like purpose-built, homegrown, solutions their IT folks put together. There's some large, enterprise government software providers also providing parts of a platform to manage workflow. So kind of technology challenges early are, there's not a single platform of record on the municipality side. It's a lot of it's fragmented and atomized, and there's a lot of different systems. Also, then our clients. So today, our main clients are folks that need a permit. So think big retailers and big restaurant brands, and folks that are expanding rapidly by building things. A lot of publicly traded REITs that own shopping centers, and there's turnover of spaces and they need permits. Those folks are still often collaborating with their design teams, over email, phone call, and text. So some of the early challenges are, what is technology that we need to build that can bring all the different stakeholders together to collaborate? Also, there's change management. A lot of folks in construction and real estate, think of kind of salty dogs, they've done it one way for a long time. There's some change management challenges of getting people to adopt new systems. But that's all guided us in how we built GreenLite and how we've built collaborating with GreenLite to be, highly effective, low friction, without a ton of necessarily technology integration to work with us.
Okay. So, and how challenging that was for you to get in touch with all those people?
Yeah.
20,000. That sounds like a big number to me.
Yeah, so that's one side of the market, right? That's all the municipalities, and it's challenging, but then also there's some larger trends, tailwinds that are driving folks to want to learn more about GreenLite. So let's talk both sides. There's the government side, and then there's the applicant side. A pizza restaurant that needs a permit.
Mhm.
I'll talk both sets of pain real quick. Our core customer today, so for anyone listening and anyone who's lived the permitting pain, it's acute. It is deeply felt, everywhere across the country. Let me unpack that. COVID changed a lot. Folks had to go work from home. City government folks that would review construction plans and issue permits all had to go home. A lot of them didn't have technology or systems in the cloud to continue to collaborate at the same speed they needed to, before when they were in the office. Second, a lot of like the experts retired. So there's like a human capital and a manpower challenge at the governments. And then kind of migration trends, right? Remember, a lot of people were relocating during COVID. So areas of the country that didn't have a lot of development, one day now overnight, all of a sudden, we're building, a gigafactory in my backyard in Austin, Texas, that no one would have imagined would have been there the day before. And so what happened was, anyone looking for a permit, especially during and after COVID, it got really hard to collaborate with your government. The lines got really long. It's taking people months and years to get a permit to build something very simple. That hinders the American dream. Like, that's not how we should be in the 21st century. It's 2025, a quarter of the way through this century. It should take you a day to get permission to build a pizza shop or a restaurant, or a new retail space. Our customers on average are, 4-6 months just to get a permit. So back to the pain is acute. So what you said, is it hard to get in touch with the customers on the city side or the commercial sector? The pain is so real. Whenever we introduce ourselves, say, hey, we are a solution to that pain. You should consider talking to us. We can help you. Almost everyone in the commercial sector, takes the call or come to us and they want to learn. We hear often, saving me one day is worth it. Saving me a week, I'll pay anything to save 2 weeks. So that is a great position to be in, a market with a lot of pain, and a real problem to solve for people. Like, this is people's livelihoods, trying to open a business or build a home. Like, people go out of business or people never build their home because they wait for a permit. How can we help solve that? The government sector, these folks are looking for good people to work at their governments. They're looking for the best technology for those workers to utilize to have like high job satisfaction. This is kind of a thankless job. We got to make sure what we build is safe, and then issue a permit to build something that is safe. A lot of times, our code officers and compliance folks at cities and counties, they don't get a lot of love. They get screamed at a lot, or they get a lot of friction from politicians and donors and people who need something built. So, we're inspired to build technology that cities and counties can integrate with and also can use to better serve their citizens, to bring higher job satisfaction to their employees, and just remove pain points and friction in this whole process for both sides of the transaction.
So, based on everything you said, your employees has to have a nice insurance.
We do compliance reviews, and we're looking at building code. And building code is black and white. Sometimes people interpret it one way or the other, but our folks are experts. We understand, if you're building a new Buffalo Wild Wings in Orlando, it is clear what the governing building code in Orlando, Florida is. And so we are helping clients get those designs and those drawings as code compliant as possible before they submit for a permit. We actually can act like the city in Orlando, Florida, as a private plan reviewer. So then we review those drawings and say, this is up to code. We stamp it and we approve the drawings. And then that fast tracks the permit in the city of Orlando. So imagine these are all great benefits to Buffalo Wild Wings. As an example, this is a hypothetical, to realize working with someone who's responsive, working with someone who's an expert, working with someone who can shorten timelines. So, all businesses need insurance, but what we're doing is we are certifying the work of other professionals to be up to code, and then we're collaborating with the city and the county to say, in our best effort, we've reviewed these to be compliant to building code. You should approve and issue this permit rapidly. And then there's still some, liability and burden upon the city and the municipality. They ultimately issue the permit and, oversee the building and the building safely of this structure.
Okay. And you also mentioned that COVID hit you guys. And can you tell a little bit more how the procedures for you guys changed since the COVID hit it? Is that
Yeah.
pretty much the same process like it was before and after, because as I know, a lot of companies been struggling with the changing their policies and their internal processes when the COVID hit it. So did it have some impact for you folks?
Yeah. So just to kind of be clear, we started Greenlight a little after COVID, and
Okay.
but we, I guess for our employees and people on our side, we're living in a new world of being able to, hire remote workers or build a hybrid kind of in-person remote workforce. And, we're fortunate to have learned how to do that very effectively at Greenlight to build, technology and services and deliver for our customers. But back to, what else changed with COVID? Folks now, you shouldn't have to like mail your paper drawings to your city, you know, and have them, open up that envelope and use pen and ink to review construction drawings and tell you what's right and what's wrong. Expectations are you should be able to upload that digitally, right?
Hmm.
You should be able to, interact with your government, or someone like Greenlight who can help with the government digitally, with technology, in near real time. So what we have seen is, cities and counties are looking at how to better meet their citizens where they are, with elegant kind of purpose-built technology. Also, we see trends after COVID, not only COVID, but cities and counties and governments, in a way see their citizens like customers. And I mean that in a good way. Like we owe them good service. We want to measure like satisfaction of our citizens. We want to ensure we deliver like outcomes and value to them. So we've seen a lot of cities and counties trying to improve how they work with their people post COVID, and that's a secular trend. It's happening, and we're helping kind of influence that at the city level, and then also as a private provider, how we partner with cities. It's helping citizens and developers locally as well.
Hey, thank you for sharing. And you mentioned that everything's supposed to be digital nowadays, so that people can send just the documents without saying the like real letters and save a lot of time on that. And my next question is going to be, if let's say you would be able to develop some new applications, some technical solution that will help you to speed up the process of communication and basically will help you to scale up your business. What kind of technical solution that's going to be?
Yeah. So look, like AI and ML is eating the world, and we're still a relatively small firm with a small human footprint, and so we're always thinking about how we can scale our impact with the use of technology. There's some folks today that kind of sell you the dream that AI can call it, review your plans and get your permit issued in minutes or hours. And we think there's a future where, there's full automation, supported with machine learning to really, really impact timelines to that degree. But it's gonna be a process. And so, how does machine learning augmentation, support construction compliance? That's something we're deeply like working on and bringing internally to make us more efficient, removing hours, from certain workflows, automating communications with customers. How do you remove friction and hours and time from a process that's usually pretty manual? Using machine learning and artificial intelligence, and learning models and training machines to kind of replicate with high integrity what humans do. So, we've got our, AI team focused on bringing that all into the product for both how we work internally, for how customers engage with us, and then hopefully how cities and counties, when they interact, interface, and integrate with us, that they reap those rewards as well.
Okay, thank you. You actually already start answering my next question regarding the AI implementation and how do you see the future of AI? At my point, I talk a lot of people, and what they say that, oh, that's going to be a huge impact, and basically machine will replace the humans, so everything's going to be like in Terminator 2. But other people say, oh no, that's just a tool. That's not really useful. And I think that's nothing special about that. What do you think about AI and AI impact to the companies like yours and the prop tech sector in general? Do you underestimate or overestimate AI?
I think I estimate it from a measured perspective. I definitely don't underestimate it. I say measured too. I don't want to overestimate it in meaning like impact too soon. But let me give you a little kind of framework. I was a nuclear engineer in the United States Navy.
Hmm.
The belief, from Admiral Rickover, who founded the nuclear navy, 50, 60 years ago, was, we want obviously best in class nuclear technology, but you can never remove, the man from the machine. So, operating nuclear reactors is something I did in the past. There's still very, human oversight, human augmentation, humans and technology to deliver outcomes. And so how I think about it is, we still need a human brain and, human decision making and human accountability here to, what we deem as safe to build, how it compares to code, ultimately, a human having the accountability to these decisions. But I see what AI and ML, in these models are going to do most immediately. It's going to be to augment and support humans. So I think we will soon see fewer humans needed to, do the same amount of work and deliver the same amount of outcomes. But we're not going to fully remove the human from the workflow for a while. It's, in a way you can think of an analogy like Tesla's, supervised full self-driving.
Hmm.
These Teslas, are proving, hundreds of millions of miles or more. Fact check me. But these cars can drive themselves. But look, there's still, you're still in the driver's seat, and the car still prompts you to indicate you're still paying attention, that you've got oversight of the technology, and that, we're deploying it kind of reasonably and safely into society. So I think for really important workflows, you don't want a building to collapse. You don't want a nuclear reactor to melt down. You don't want cars to run into each other. It's more, how do you augment the humans? And then maybe how do you remove errors? Humans are prone to errors. Where do you find opportunity to remove human errors and make humans even better at what they're doing? Phase one. Phase two is, there is going to be a future where, a machine can look at construction documents, understand where it's going to be built. Is it Florida? So there's hurricane concerns. Is it Southern California where there's earthquake concerns? And be able to very, instantly tell you, is this built to building code? We will get there. And then, even better would be, how do we build like a Copilot or tools that are referencing deep, deep models and deep, deep data as an architect or an engineer are designing something to say, hey, what you're about to do is, as math would tell you, structurally unsound, would say, hey, like what you're doing is not to code where you're building it. So imagine a Copilot helping a designer build even more compliant, safe, drawings from inception. And then we might not necessarily really need as much human review to check the work of the architect. So I think it's going to be phased. And I do not underestimate the impact. And so, we're thinking about it deeply and bringing it into, every conversation at GreenLite. But we just don't say that flagrantly just to say it. We mean it.
Hmm. So basically, right now, you're thinking that way that AI is just a tool that we can use, but in the future, there's going to be some co-pilot.
Yes, I would. That's how I'm thinking.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, when do you think that will happen, that we will turn the tool into the co-pilot?
I mean, I
Your
see a
bet.
world where I see a world for sure in this decade. I think in 2 or 3 years, with an immense amount of data, compliance data and markup data, and training machines to reference like a static code base, and then visually to look at drawings and read and understand. I think we could see that in a couple years, or a meaningful copilot. Think of spell check back in the day. You're typing and then something starts to tell you you're misspelling. I think in a couple years we can be there with architects and engineers designing.
Okay. And how do you think how that will impact like your company? Is that going to help you to growth, or it will be replacement for the company like yours and the services that you guys provide?
I think it'll help, in the short, medium term to tons of growth. Being removing man hours, delivering better results for our commercial clients, delivering better results also to the governments we partner with and eventual like government clients. And then, you got to stay in the forefront of technology and, in a way, people kind of outbuild themselves. Could we be the firm to, deliver absolute like new game changing kind of technology more upstream in the design process to maybe render plan review, not as needed, down the road, maybe, and we want to be positioned to also win there. So not too worried about the most immediate getting replaced, but we want to be kind of the keepers and the builders of the technology of the future, to continue to, create value and deliver outcomes for our customers.
Make total sense. So if let's say you would be able to create some AI-based key features for the things that you guys do now, what it would be?
Yeah, I think, we have an immense amount of data, from being a private plan reviewer. So our experts reviewing drawings for code compliance and, finding out what was not compliant, what was compliant. Also then understanding how city and counties are giving feedback on, when you submit something and, hey, here's 20 things that we say are wrong or we want to see differently. Aggregating all of that data has allowed us to, surface patterns and, across, say, different project types, different asset classes, different geographies. So, that's going on now. And so just continuing to get more and more compliance data from like actual real world projects that our tech enabled services deliver are allowing us to train models and like better use technology today to remove hours from our processes by surfacing, patterns and insights.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Based on everything that we just discussed, what is the next for the GreenLite? What is your plans for the near future, guys? You want to stay in the same way, or you want to change something, or you have some exciting plans that you might be willing to share or not?
Yeah, we are kind of still in early days. We are solving real pain and delivering a real solution to some really amazing customers, and we want to just hyper focus on doing 10x, 100xing that. How do we continue to build this technology platform and these tech enabled services to deliver even better results for our clients? And that means fast, predictable, simple building permits. And how do we measure those results? It's reducing the number of days these folks budget and plan for in permitting, and we're doing that significantly. Reducing the number of revision cycles and comments they receive on their drawings and getting them to compliant drawings faster. By weeks and by months, we're doing that. Clearly articulating the ROI on working with GreenLite across projects. We're getting people to revenues, in rents and royalties months faster because of better, more simple permitting. And so my immediate focus is just continue to do that and to do that for more and more people across the country. Today it's a lot of big enterprises. We had to start somewhere being venture backed, and we have an amazing roster of big partners that want to change permitting with us. We'll go to the longer tail. How do we help, the mom and pop opening a coffee shop, someone wanting to build their home, someone with one project and not necessarily 200 projects? We want to help everybody get a better permit. We're going to be laser focused on doing that with technology for, the near term.
Okay.
In the long term.
That's everything has total sense to me. So thank you for sharing that, Ben. And I think we already discussed some near future plans, the services that you guys provided. However, we did not discuss how, if let's say our listeners will be interested in your company and your services, how they can reach you out. Can you please tell us about that a bit?
Yeah. So, a couple things here. Like, we are always looking for incredible talent. That is folks who have worked in the construction, real estate, architecture space before, whether that's you're an engineer, you're an architect, you've worked at a city, you've built software for these types of firms. Go to greenlight.com, reach out, there's a contact form. If you are building and needing a building permit, or anyone in your family or your friends, or just of anyone talking about permitting pain, please point them to greenlight.com to reach out. We can help them. If anyone listening works at a city government or an agency that does plan review, you're feeling behind, you're not tech enabled, we have technology that can help you do your job better and serve your clients better and your constituents. Reach out, greenlight.com, there's a contact form, or find me on LinkedIn, Ben Allen, co-founder of GreenLite. We're always looking for great people, great customers, and great partners to really deliver solutions against this problem.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your contact, Ben. Thank you for being our guest today. I think we've done a pretty good job, and we squeezed all the questions that I have, not in 40, but just in 30 minutes, which is pretty cool. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you in the future. And good luck with your plans, near plans, and for the next decade.
Thank you, Yuri.
So, thank you, our listeners, guys. Join us for the next podcast. And we're going to get back soon to you with the new guest. Have a good one, and ciao for now.